Good day, my friends. Welcome back to Your Menopause Your Way. This is the menopause education all women deserve. And I'm Menopause Taylor, the gynecologist who is delivering it to you. You've landed on video number 335. It's part of our big unit on endometrial uterine cancer. And we're embarking on the part of the unit that gives you all your options for preventing endometrial uterine cancer. In this education, I give you all your options in every category for managing your menopause. And I explain what each one can and cannot do for you. For every disease or symptom, I give you options in the categories of diet, lifestyle, exercise, vitamins, minerals, and supplements, herbs, hormonal medications, non-hormonal medications, acupuncture, hypnosis, mechanical, and surgical options. In this unit on endometrial uterine cancer, I'm skipping the category of vitamins, minerals, and supplements, and that's because they are not capable of doing anything at all, one way or the other, for purposes of either causing or preventing endometrial uterine cancer. Endometrial uterine cancer centers around hormones. Vitamins, minerals, and supplements do not. No matter how much you wish vitamins, minerals, and supplements could take the place of hormones, they can't. And trying to use them for any purpose with regard to endometrial uterine cancer would end in failure. So today's video is moving on to your herbal options for preventing endometrial uterine cancer. In my book, both the first edition and the second edition, this material is in chapter 31 in the section on botanical and herbal options. In this video, I'll demonstrate things that are impossible to demonstrate in the book. Back in video 331 on the principles of preventing endometrial uterine cancer, I explained that all your management options will be based on their relationship to the cause or the risk factors for endometrial uterine cancer. Then, in video number 332 on dietary options for preventing endometrial uterine cancer, you saw that using diet for preventing it is all about balancing estrogen and progesterone found in foods. Well, today's topic is based on the very same principle, using herbs instead of foods, but still balancing. So the basic premise of preventing endometrial uterine cancer is to ensure that you do not have excessive estrogen compared to progesterone, or that you do not have unopposed estrogen without progesterone. The big key to endometrial uterine cancer is that it is caused by estrogen and prevented by progesterone. So let's use this basic principle to assess your herbal options for preventing endometrial uterine cancer. When it comes to herbs, you will find two different kinds of products. There are the raw herbs themselves, and there are herbal formulations in the form of manufactured products, and I will address them both. The other basic principle of herbs is that some raw herbs contain estrogen, whereas other raw herbs contain progesterone. There are no raw natural herbs that contain both. The critical thing for your menopause management is knowing which herbs contain which hormone. So I'll present the herbs that contain each of the two hormones of concern. Let's talk about raw herbs first, designating which herbs contain which hormone, and then we'll move on to the manufactured formulations. Okay, beginning with the raw herbs that contain estrogen. There are only 5. Do you recall which ones they are? I've presented them in numerous videos. The estrogen-containing herbs include soy isoflavones, red clover, licorice root, hops, and wild yam. And here are some samples of each in various forms. Here I have soy isoflavones. I have them in capsule form, and I have them as a tincture. Both are just soy isoflavones. This is red clover as the herb, the blossoms, capsules, and a tincture. Here I have licorice root. Licorice root as the actual root. Look at that. Root. And also I have the root, but in a more refined fashion. But I also have a powder, as well as some capsules and a tincture. And then I have hops, but only as the raw herb. And I have wild yam galore. It comes in all sorts of forms. Here's the actual herb looking like bark. Here it is as a powder. Here I have it as a tea. And then I have a tincture, 2 different kinds of capsules, and I even have wild yam as a cream and a gel. So, as you can see, there is quite a smorgasbord of estrogen-containing herbs. For herbal estrogen, you have many, many, many options. Now, all of these are phytoestrogens, and phytoestrogens are very weak forms of estrogen. Nevertheless, if you use any of these, they can serve to thicken the endometrial lining of your uterus. So now, let's talk about progesterone. As I've taught you before, there is only one herb that contains progesterone. Do you call which herb it is? It's chasteberry. And it's also known by the complicated name Vitex agnus castus. Most commonly, you'll see it as Vitex, V-I-T-E-X. And here I have it as the raw herb in tea form, the powder, a tea form that's in tea bags, capsules, a tincture, and tablets. So while chasteberry is available in many different forms, it is the only herb you can use as a source of progesterone. Well, this whole unit on endometrial uterine cancer is all about balancing the effects of estrogen and progesterone on your uterus. So you can take any of the estrogen-containing herbs with the one progesterone-containing herb and accomplish that. Except, how do you know how much of each to take? How do you know that the relative strengths of the estrogen and progesterone are adequate for purposes of protecting your uterus? How do you know that your attempts to avoid estrogen excess are successful? Do you see the problem? I can't tell you how much of these herbs you need in order to prevent endometrial uterine cancer. Nobody can. Remember, herbs are plants. Plants vary in their growth, strengths, and quantities of nutrients. You know that simply from eating fruits and vegetables. All tomatoes are not equally succulent. All peaches are not equally sweet. And mint leaves are not all equally large. These differences may not matter merely for purposes of how good your food tastes, but they matter greatly for purposes of how well you are protecting your uterus from endometrial uterine cancer. So when it comes to raw herbs, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to be sure that you are meeting your goal of preventing endometrial uterine cancer. So let's move on. What about manufactured products? By using the term manufactured products, I'm referring to the menopause formulations that you can buy that contain herbs. But they are not in the form of the single raw herb that I just showed you. Most manufactured products for menopause contain a variety of herbs. And if that's the case, you have to know what I just taught you about which herbs contain estrogen and which herbs contain progesterone if you want to use them to prevent endometrial uterine cancer. And you absolutely must read all the ingredients to ensure that they contain the herbs you want. Let me demonstrate what I mean. I have all sorts of manufactured products here, and I'm going to show you some of them and check their ingredients. Now, you should know that when I show you products, the particular products I show mean nothing. I'm not promoting or criticizing any of them. I don't pick and choose what to show you. I just buy everything I see. And then I just use them as examples to impart the lesson I'm delivering. So don't go looking for a product just because I showed it to you here on YouTube. I sure hope that by now you realize that I am the unbiased educator. I find it astonishing at how many women try to get me to recommend something, or who want to know what's best, or which brand should they buy. We live in a time when there are so many product pushers and advertisers that people really can't accept that there is no best. The fact that I just give you the unbiased truth about everything is so foreign to people that they don't know how to take it. So none of the specific products I show mean anything at all in terms of whether they're good or bad. They're all merely good examples of what I'm trying to teach you and what you have to look out for. With the knowledge I've given you about the 5 herbs that contain estrogen and the 1 herb that contains progesterone, you need to pay attention to these 6 herbs as the ingredients in any manufactured product. Any product that contains soy isoflavones, red clover, licorice root, hops, or wild yam contains estrogen. And any product that contains chasteberry or vitex contains progesterone. Any product that contains any of the estrogen-containing herbs as well as chasteberry or vitex contains both. So let's see what we have here. Here's a fairly familiar product, fairly popular product called Remi-Femin. And I have it as a daytime formulation and as a nighttime formulation. Let's look and see how they differ. I sometimes need this to see what's written on these packages. First, the nighttime formulation. The nighttime formulation contains hops. That's estrogen. But the daytime formulation doesn't contain any of the herbs that constitute either estrogen or progesterone. Both of these say hormone-free and specifically estrogen-free. But you see that such a statement is not completely accurate for the one that contains hops. Now here I have another product. This one comes in 2 forms. One is the original product, and the next one is new and improved. You know, I've never understood the new and improved claim. Nothing can be both new and improved. If it's new, it's new. And if it's the same old thing but improved, then it's old and improved. But new and improved are 2 words that are mutually incompatible. An oxymoron. Anyway, the original estrogen contains isoflavones. That's estrogen. And it also contains a big long list of vitamins, bunches of vitamins. The new and improved maximum strength formulation contains soy isoflavones, but no vitamins, just some calcium. That's odd. And next I have 2 formulations of Promensil. It looks like I have a regular strength and a double strength, and they both contain, let's see, red clover. They both contain red clover, which is estrogen, and the regular strength contains 40 milligrams, while the maximum strength, or double strength, contains 80 milligrams. Next we have Vital Menopause. Now this one contains soy isoflavones, so that's estrogen again. Here I have one called Menopause Formula, and it contains red clover, that's estrogen. Here's Menopause Care. It also contains hops, so that's estrogen. Menopause Complex here contains soy isoflavones. And let's see, Menopause Support contains soy extract and wild yam, both of which are estrogen. And this one, called Chill Food, contains hops. That's estrogen. This is Art, and it contains licorice root. Oh, it's the first one we've come across with licorice root. That's also an estrogen. And this one contains red clover, so that's estrogen. And Hormone Replacement here, this one's really tiny, contains isoflavones, soy isoflavones, so that's estrogen again. So all these products thus far contain only estrogen, and all told they contain 1 or more of all 5 of the estrogen containing herbs. This one, Estratone, has chaste tree, which is the same thing as chaste berry, so that's progesterone. And there's nothing else except some other non-hormonal herbs like rosemary and ginger. Oddly, there's no herbal estrogen, even though it says supercritical hormone balance on the box, with supercritical written as one word. And this is the only product I have that contains progesterone all by itself. Here is AM/PM perimenopause formula and AM/PM menopause formula. Let's see how they differ. It appears that the perimenopause has hops in it and chaste tree in it, both. And the menopause formula has only the hops. So this product recognizes that perimenopause is a loss of progesterone, and they put chaste tree in this one, and that menopause is a loss of estrogen, and this one only has estrogen. So that's an interesting thing. And then there are variations of other herbs in both of those. Next I have this Emerita Menopause Plus formula, and it contains both red clover and chaste tree. So this one has both in it. And we even have a few here that have nothing but vitamins and minerals. This one has nothing but vitamins and minerals, a great big long list of them. And this Menopause, same thing, tons of vitamins and minerals, lots of stuff in there. And finally, I have this one, Amberin, and it just has vitamins and minerals. Just a few though, not a lot. So, while none of these is better or worse, good or bad, right or wrong, you absolutely have to examine their ingredients to know what you're getting or not getting. If your goal is to take a balanced herbal product that contains both estrogen and progesterone, make sure it contains both. And then, remember our dilemma with regard to the raw herbs in terms of how much of each do you need to take? It's the same with these products. How do you know if you're taking enough of each hormonal herb? And how do you know that the combination is balanced, even if they both come in the same product? The necessary balance of estrogen and progesterone for preventing endometrial uterine cancer is not an arbitrary thing. When we get to the next video, you will see that the dosages for balancing hormonal options are very, very exact. With herbs, there is nothing of the sort. So be aware of the limitations of using herbal options to prevent endometrial uterine cancer. It is anything but an exact science. And with that, I will stop for today. Come back in a week when we'll delve into the topic of hormonal medication options for preventing endometrial uterine cancer. In other words, HRT. Please, please, please go to menopausetailor.me and schedule a consultation to assess your personal best options. I cannot tailor anything to anybody in a comment box here on YouTube. You deserve much more than that. Social media doesn't require any tailoring, so you can follow me there as much as you want. And subscribing to my newsletter and this channel doesn't require any tailoring either. I will see you in a week. Bye!